Okay, so I'm having this love-hate relationship. I don't know what to do. Um, this microphone gives better sound, but the headphones make me feel less anxious and secure. Um, so I'm going with that. It is a Saturday, so if I start getting bad reception, I will stop and make a video tomorrow and upload it. So, what I'm going to talk about, first, I'm going to talk about the concert I went to, but not in the way that I'm talking to you about the concert I went to. I'm talking about it in relation as it was as being experienced by someone with anxiety and bipolar disorder. And I so my favorite band is Sleater-Kinney, and I have been with them for 25 years. Their first album, A Little 10-inch, 1995. Basically, they were feminist punk then, just a bunch of screaming 1 to 2 minute songs. This is actually the first album on vinyl that they appear. This is the print, the screen. What is that called? Anyway, this is a valuable record, 1994, before they had any. It's the first time they appeared on vinyl. All the way to like 25 years later, we're getting mature. We're grown-ups now, officially grown-ups. You get the box set. Which is a poster and album and a t-shirt in it and stuff. I wanted to tell you that this is how anal I am with my music. This box set comes with the LP on white vinyl, and I don't want to open it, so I bought just the LP for it to be the one I play. So I just wanted to, sort of, and some idea of just how much this means to me, that I would go so far out of my comfort zone that I would manage. I had never seen them. They're from like Seattle and stuff, and I had never seen them. And they came out with this one album that was just the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, and I was depressed because this was like in 2006, I think. Anyway, it was a long time ago, and I was depressed because I was too. Dogs chewing something up. I was too. I had the social anxieties still had a super duper grip on me. And I had managed to get a little apartment in a place where it was for people who had disabilities and stuff. And it was just down the road from my mom's house. I mean, I could walk there. Just, So I was my day was very regimented, and when anything changed, it would throw me off and I would just have a meltdown. So, and we're talking, I live in rural area and all the good stuff is happening downtown. 2 hours away, 1.5. And previously to that, when I lived with my mother, I guess in my 30s, it was so bad that I couldn't use the phone. I couldn't go into the store because I couldn't interact with the cashier. I was terrified to interact because I was afraid they would just speak to me, like say, "Hope you have a nice day." I mean, I couldn't order a pizza, and it was frustrating for everyone around me because if I needed something, I needed someone to go with me to drive me there. That was also before I got a GPS. It was so there were things I wanted to do, and that I wouldn't mind driving that far if I could only get the anxiety under control. And I guess, I mean, it really tears you in half when there are things are happening and you want them so badly, but you panic. I mean, you just thinking about the idea, it's like they're going to be in Kansas City. People drive days to, see a concert. Follow the, I wasn't working. I could have been following them around the country, and I realized that this is something I would have really loved to have seen, and I couldn't do it. And I knew it had to be my last chance because they had a hiatus before the last album and everybody expected it to be the last. And then poof, years later they come out with this Force of Nature album, and I didn't get to see it, and I had always regretted it, and I had always been angry at myself for being a person with those. I should be able to get over that. I should be able to, if I want it that bad, wouldn't I overcome any anxiety? My mom's not going to come with me. I wouldn't. How do I get a ticket? I would have to ask my mom how. You know what I mean? I know some of you know what I mean, because I couldn't go very far in planning because the thing was so big that the little parts that you had to go through to get to this big thing became impossible. And it was just sad, and I was so upset and sad, and and then this one other volunteer at the animal shelter, this is when I was volunteering, she came to my house to drop some stuff off, like I didn't even know she was coming. And so she threw my day off. And I'm like standing there in my doorway, my apartment completely spotless and in order, but I don't want to let her into my private sanctum, because I know her in the context of the shelter. She's supposed to stay in the context of the shelter. I don't like it when people move out of the context that I have them in. It freaks me out. You know, it's like the day I was in high school and I had to go into the teacher's lounge for something. And one of the teachers had their shoes off, propped up on a table, and was smoking a cigarette. And, or you see your teacher at the store, out of context, it throws you off. So she just like shows up to see. I had some of the stuff and I thought you might like it, kind of thing. And she saw behind me all my Sleater-Kinney posters. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I've seen them. They opened for Pearl Jam a few times." And I was like, yep, that's what I miss. I miss out. I miss out on everything because my anxiety keeps me planted here. And anytime I did find myself with no choice but to go to a social event, every muscle in my body was, and this is up until a few months ago, every muscle was contracted. And I found out how much anxiety messes with every part of your system, because I worked as the manager at the animal shelter for 5 years, and my body was a wreck. And after a few months of quitting, it all changed and got better. But I digress. I would be my body language, I would be very closed up. I would have a fidgeting item, my phone. People thought I was attached to my phone, like I was communicating on it and ignoring them, but I just needed something to hold. And it was so hard to talk, to get words out. And it was, I never expounded on anything. Most of what I said would be, oh no, I'm fine. That's okay. Thanks. I hated to, it was so hard. It was so hard. And I just couldn't wait to get home in my safe place and relax, and be around no people because they make me anxious. So, having thought I had missed my bucket list opportunity of seeing my favorite band live, I found myself in 2016. They put out a new album. It was pretty good. Not as good as the last one, but still pretty good. And by golly, they are coming to Kansas City. I'm not letting this happen again. It was very hard, but I scoped everything out. My mom came with me. We did a dry run, drove all the way out there, saw where I would park, what the theater looked like. I was in a balcony seat, so I was sitting contained in my own little space. And And so I got there and early, managed to park exactly where um, we did when we did the dry run and got in. And I did feel like some people looked at me because I was obviously alone. I wasn't talking to anybody, and I was like clapping very enthusiastically. um, and I had bought like every piece of merchandise that they had at the table. So I was just, and so it was, it was still hard though. I was still very, very tense and like looking around me, kind of paranoid or just self conscious is, um, and knowing I'm self conscious, being feeling bad about going alone. You can be, conscious of people noticing this or that about you. If you're just conscious of it, that's no big deal. If you're self-conscious about it, it is. And so I didn't get to relax. And even though I was glad I went and I enjoyed the show, and it was really just another notch on my belt of something I did. So the more you do, the more you can do. So this was bigger than my Ren Fest, my Renaissance festivals. I go there every year. That used to be my big thing, my first thing that I was like, I'm missing out on this. And I don't want to miss out on it just because nobody else is going with me. And then after I did it a year or two, my mom would go a day or two with me. And so I actually realized that I kind of preferred going alone, but I brought my dog because it's pet friendly. As long as I have my dog with me, um, I uh, I tend to feel better. But obviously, you can't come to a concert. Um, and anyway, and so I'm gonna plug CBD oil again because this CBD oil, see, even during those experiences before, I was taking Xanax and feeling that tense and self-conscious, and that I was saying stupid stuff and people were judging me and it bothered me. I was taking Xanax and I was still that anxious. So since I started using the CBD oil, my social anxiety has been has just been, and I'm not saying this is for everybody. I'm not telling you to go out and do it. But when I went to Michigan for a big memorial 10 days, this is big time. Normally, I would have been tense and like this and not talking and hiding in the house somewhere and feeling sick to my stomach and I can't eat because I'm so tense. Like every other time when I visited Michigan. Oh, you're so quiet. Everybody, since I was an infant, I was told how quiet I was. I didn't cry when I was a baby. My mom thought something was wrong with me. She thought I had autism. Um, I just didn't talk. So I think I've had this problem for quite some time. But the last time I went, um, and I'd been using the CBD oil, I was like, I don't care what you think about me. I know I'm a decent person. And if you don't like what I have to say, I'm not going to, it's not like disinhibited enough that you're going to say anything. It's just enough where it's like, I'm comfortable with me. Yeah, I'll talk to you. Hi, how you doing? I had conversations and felt comfortable and made a meal one evening and had a lunch thing and the big memorial. And I was anxious, but I didn't have that tension that I used to have. And when I talked to people, I wasn't as conscious of what looking for signs of what they thought of me. You know, I didn't care. I looked in the mirror and I looked fine. Okay, my clothes are all right. I had a little bit of makeup on. My hair looked good. Okay, I'm ready to go. So, you know, if yeah, I just it was my hair was a little pink. I still didn't care. This is me. This is me. I am freaking 50 years old. I'm going to wear what I want and color my hair. And I'm my own boss and blah, blah, blah. And I was so much more relaxed and got so much more out of it. I held conversations. That was the weirdest thing because I was so used to shutting them down. I actually asked people, I talked to people I didn't know. Ask people questions. I was able to bring information forth from my head to speak it. That had always been a problem. I was so anxious that I couldn't get the information out of my head. I couldn't retrieve it. I have that problem anyway, and anxiety makes it worse. So I'm like, okay. Then they put out another album, and it kind of, in my opinion, sucked. So I'm like, I'm not going to make any effort to go see them for this album. But they had to cancel anyway because of COVID. It was 2020. But here comes 2021, another album. And it's not bad. It's not bad. I liked a lot of tracks on it. And they always do this one song called Jumpers. I'm going to be putting some links. Not that I think you're going to really listen, but just maybe if you're interested in what I was doing. And so I'm like, well, this will be cool. I'll go again. I did it once. I'm going to do it again. And I decided, okay, I'm going to get another balcony seat because I can't stand in general admission. I'm too short. I can't see anything. So I got a balcony seat ticket early, waited, and then they suddenly changed it to another venue, which would be outside. And I was really put out. I was really mad about that because I had driven and found parking and everything just like the other theater previously. So I was like, well, F it. I looked it up on Google Maps and just drove there. I didn't do the try run. I just said to myself, well, I'll just take things as they happen. And I got caught in, I wanted to be there really early, which is something I always do when I'm really anxious. But I got caught in a downpour, so I had to pull over for a while because I can't drive when I can't see. And it went over and got back on the highway. And there was an accident, probably from the downpour, so there was traffic. So I didn't get there early like I wanted, but I was still early enough to be one of the first people in line. And so, and it had stopped raining because I thought they were going to cancel it because of the rain. And I just told myself, I'm driving there. Well, we'll just see. And if they did, oh, well, that's too bad. I never would have been like that before. I would have been freaking out. I'm like, well, we'll just see how it goes. I didn't know where I was going to park. Well, this parking spot looks pretty good. There's no signs that tell me not to park here. I'm going to park here. Went in and couldn't bring umbrellas, and that now makes sense to me. So ditched the umbrella and got in there, got a spot at the front of the stage, and there was this woman about my age next to me, and we were talking a lot, waiting for them to come on. We had a, it's like, yeah, I saw them at No Cities. It was really good. I like them live better than, recorded. And we talked like normal people talk. I didn't feel weird or conspicuous. I was excited. I wasn't panicky. It was small venue, just flat. I have a feeling they must have really hustled to. The reason they had to move it outdoors was because my state is sadly one of the worst states regarding COVID masks and vaccines. So we're all there with our masks on, and they come out and they play their music, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so close. And I didn't know I was going to respond this way. And so they start playing, and I'm like, I'm here. I'm right here in front of Sleater-Kinney. Oh my God. And I only got like tiny, tiny clips of pictures, videos, because I wanted to experience it live. I didn't want to see it through a screen, but I had to get some for memory's sake. It was just so awesome. I tell you what, I have not felt this way, that way. I'm still feeling it since I was a teenager. If you have ever had an experience where you lost yourself in something and it was just pleasure hormones galore. I was singing, dancing, hooting, hollering. The whole crowd was very, very responsive, and excited and appreciative. And it was, so I wasn't the only one behaving that way. And I was just lost, and it felt so good. I was in a place, like I said, that I hadn't been since I was a teenager, maybe even ever, because I felt nothing. I felt nothing but pleasure from what I was seeing and what I was hearing. And um, and I was so happy. And um, I can't believe it. Um, it felt so good to not have the weight of social anxiety, bipolar disorder, medication, uh, mood charts. It was like there was nothing. But in the band was it was like a nice feeding off of each other. They were even though we were probably they treated this crowd like we were there. And when they played their signature song Jumpers, which, by the way, very sadly, I think it was the New Yorker, there was an article. um, there was an article, I believe it was called Jumpers, and it was about people that committed suicide on the San Francisco Bridge. And I know that bridge has a name, but I can't. It's in there somewhere. Um, and and they made a song about it, and um, it's a very profound, punching, visceral song. And if you have been someone that has ever seriously contemplated suicide or attempted, if you hear that song, you're going to feel something. And so right when they started playing the song, downpour. Nobody cared. Didn't miss a beat. So we were like ponchos and masks, soaked. I was just soaked. My hair was soaked. And it just made it better. Um, because it just made the whole crowd more excited. And it was, I mean, if they knew that they were affecting someone in a way that wasn't just enjoying their music, but that they allowed to have this period of time without care. Um, I imagine that would make someone feel um, happy, not happy, but um, something about why they do what they do. Artists in general, when an artist sees somebody moved by their work, then there's got to be something they feel inside, rather than someone who just like, oh yeah, it's a very beautiful painting, boring. But if you see someone get emotional looking at it, you're going to feel something different. And I just wish that somehow I could convey that to them. I'm not going to be creepy, fan. I'm not going to try, but I can tell you that I hope there is something in your life or that you have had a moment where you just got a break from the tension, the fear, the loneliness, the erratic up and down, slingshotting back and forth. Um, I'm not a musician. I've never been inclined in that way, but I really do appreciate music. I used it differently when I was younger. I I know that people. I used to use it this way. I don't think I do anymore. I appreciate it more as an art, but it used to be a tool. When excuse me, I have to take my meds. And see, we're like tied to the where this is our existence. Thank goodness there are people that do things that allow us to escape that now and again. But music as a tool, when I would be depressed, the kind of crying depressed, excuse me. Okay. When I was depressed, something was this one. Those aren't all psych meds. It was for my stomach and estrogen and stuff. Okay. As a tool. I used it as a tool when I would be depressed, like someone hurt my feelings, something didn't go my way, my parents were drinking, someone bullied me. I would use music that was angry or depressed to bring out the tears. I wanted to cry. I needed a catharsis. And I always knew, because I knew after I stopped crying, when I had cried myself out, there was a period of like I weighed, like I was heavy, and like my body was heavy and numb. And that was kind of a relief from the pain. Um, and when you're a teenager, music means so much. So you assign certain songs to a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a breakup, um, just having a good time. Like, what is that one song that everybody sang at every party, regardless of what kind of music you listen to. I don't know, it's something about tequila. I'm getting my poor connection. I have to wait for it to go away. And it went down, which showed me that nobody is listening to me talk. That's really a shame because this was a really good video. So I hope people watch it after I post it. Let me see. Oh, wait. Hold on. Excuse me. There's some links there. Okay, I'm going to bed. That's a shame, really. I hope people watch it afterwards. Because I don't cry on cue. All right. Well, I will post this and we'll be doing more videos if a few people watch this. I think I have some other things I want to talk about, so there should be more. I know I have a few consistent fans, but anyway, good night to you all. As I said, I hope you have something in your life that brings that pure joy to you, if only for a few moments. Good night.